Good afternoon, and welcome to Wednesday Night Undress, the podcast that proves names don't matter. I am Louis, your host, and tonight we are joined by Fernando,
Hello.
Ivo,
Hola.
Andrei,
Hey.
Crow,
Hey.
Ben,
¿Cómo estás?
Sophia.
What's up?
We got Alena that's going to appear here shortly, and as always, Neil is twiddling his knobs. Yes, it's something Jeremy
On the
says.
knob.
I don't know that I agree with it, especially in a mixed company like this, but what can you do? All right, folks. I wanted to start off by saying, first of all, Jeremy and Kath will not be with us tonight. We expect to see those guys next week. And I actually wanted to start off with sending out condolences to victims of gun violence. We seem to be having a intense spate of violence right now. The Buffalo shooter has been in the news since the shooting, and I'm not really sure if the story is getting more or less confusing the more you follow it. And you guys had a shooting here in Lawrence just last night. Did anybody on the podcast know any of those folks that were involved in it?
I just found out about it on the way here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We found out last night. Emil came home. There was a big storm coming in, and he told us about it. He said one person has died and the other one is in ICU. And it was right by the Hy-Vee grocery store, on the grocery store parking lot. I thought about calling some friends. I called Coach Tyler, who jumps in on the podcast every once in a while, because he lives, basically his apartment is on the Hy-Vee parking lot.
Wow.
I called him and he said he heard the shots. He's right there. He's in those townhouses right behind Hy-Vee.
Right.
And he said he doesn't know anything else except that the second person has also passed away. So 2 victims. Today I researched it, and I found out it was most likely a road rage incident where they were, one of the cars cut, one of the drivers was 52 years old, the other one was like 28, and they chased each other, ended up at the parking lot, and nowadays everybody's armed. So road rage used to usually end with some insults hurled at each other and maybe a fist fight, but now it ends just like in the Wild West with a shootout. And in this case, both people died. Now, I did a little bit of research today in preparation for the podcast, found out that there's over 16,000 gun violence deaths in the United States so far. There's been 200 mass shootings, which is more than one a day. Yeah. A few years back, we passed this threshold where we had one mass shooting a day all year long. So over 365 mass shootings. Mass shooting is identified in the United States where more than 3 people are dead, mass murders. So we've had already 200 of those, had 16,000 gun violence deaths. This has surpassed vehicle accident deaths. So we're in a bizarre world here, in a civilized country in the 21st century. If something like this happens in Germany or France, if we have one mass shooting, it will shake up the entire parliament. It will shake up legislature. New laws will be passed. When Dunblane happened in England in '97, it changed the entire landscape, and all weapons were banned forever, to a point where even the British Olympic shooting team has to go and practice in Switzerland. And they're not allowed to shoot their guns to practice in England. And you know that the bobbies, the policemen, don't have guns in England because of that. So this is one reaction. Dunblane, as you know, was an incident where school children in Dunblane, Scotland, small town in Scotland, a school was attacked, and I believe 18 school children or so were murdered by a crazed man. and this changed the entire country. Here it happens in Connecticut, and we actually increase gun sales in the country, and nothing passes in the Congress or the Senate. So that's where we are.
So, I feel like we ask this question every single time we have a shooting, but like, is the answer just to limit the guns?
I feel like it can't hurt more than it would help.
That's usually my answer too. Like, doing that is better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not at all sure that it's going to be the answer. Like, there is for sure a mental health care crisis in the country, but
Would we agree that the ones who want them the most are the ones who are going to keep them the most, and therefore the people giving them up would be the good guys, mostly?
It might be too late. You're saying
Yeah,
everybody.
it's too proliferated. I mean, like, I feel weird walking around here knowing 90% of people I see have a gun or whatever. But also, I moved here from Aurora, where the Aurora Theater shooting
Yeah.
was, and I also lived in Littleton, where Columbine is. So,
Yeah.
And I've been in Columbine High School so walking through the halls where all
Really?
that stuff happened. Well, because my ex's daughter went there, and she did orchestra there. So it's surreal to be there, but also it's just insane that we've gone from that level where that was the one thing that happened. Now it's a daily occurrence kind of thing.
It's every day and nothing changes. There's just enormous amount of money are involved. You know, we don't manufacture almost anything anymore in the States, except maybe crappy cars and crappy movies.
Entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
this crappy podcast.
This crappy podcast, it's made in USA, and also maybe some phantom products on the stock exchange market that nobody knows if they're real or not. But we do manufacture enormous amount of weapons. There's thousands and thousands small weapons manufacturers in the United States, scattered all over the country. Wherever you are in the United States, chances are you're like 20, 30 miles away from a gun manufacturing facility. So we do make a lot of guns, and we sell a lot of guns. And I'm not even going to touch the giant military-industrial complex, which is a completely different topic. But there is enormous financial interest that sits behind the lack of action in Congress, in the executive branch, in the legislative branch. And it does seem like the money is so strong, those interests are so powerful, that nothing will ever change, no matter how ridiculous our lives are becoming here, where people are shot almost every day around us. We live in what is one of the most peaceful towns in America, and even here we have gunfights, shootouts. You know, we've had people that we know that got shot and killed after a bar fight broke out here in Lawrence. You know, it's is there a point of, like, is there a threshold? Is there a line that will be crossed and then something will be done? Apparently not. In Las Vegas, a guy went and killed hundreds of people from a hotel window during a country music concert, right? And nothing was done about that either. I mean, I want to see that guy kill 100 people with ninja stars, or get a knife and try to stab.
Something that's going to take some effort, you know? I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, countries, they say guns don't kill people, but countries that have strict gun regulation, like Australia or England, have like 20, 30 deaths a year.
I think like probably an equal measure, if there was any kind of change that could take place, if it weren't like the situation that we're living in now, in equal measure, you would be having to take away the kinds of weapons that the police force has, as well as the weapons that the populace has. At the same time, and the police force also has like military grade weapons that they shouldn't have. But I think if no one had those kinds of weapons at all in this nation, a lot of tensions would be a little bit less raised.
Oh,
And
I see what you're saying. It's a cascading issue. So the cops themselves are trigger happy, because imagine policing a world where everybody is armed and you're always on edge and always afraid, and basically knowing that the person that you're stopping for traffic violation is probably armed.
I also think they're improperly trained.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them probably shouldn't be there. Some of them are literal members of the KKK. I think I read a whole article about that they're like slowly infiltrating the police force intentionally over the past few years.
Slow. Yeah, I think it's like a full-on mass movement at this point.
And then you have these like this Nazi party that's building within the United States.
Yeah.
That's really dangerous. That's committing mass shootings, domestic terrorism. Then you have people that have just lost it, that are putting our lives at risk. People who haven't lost it but are impulsive and shouldn't have guns.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have guns if you get mad about a fender bender.
We are,
You shouldn't have a gun.
Human beings are unstable by default. We lose our shit on a daily basis. You get fired from work. Somebody cheats on you. You get cut in traffic. And, there are moments where if you have an AR-15 in your hands, you become really dangerous. We're kind of, by default, very, very unstable. And then again, we are also galvanized by the internet, by the polarization, by all these subcultures that encourage violence and hatred. Like the stuff that happened in Buffalo is unfortunately extremely predictable. And on what you said about the police, it's interesting how all these mass shooters that are white get detained by the police. And if they had a different color skin, they always get killed during the shootout. Mm-hmm. Isn't that kind of curious that this guy, again, he kills 10 people and then he gets detained somehow?
The guy was with a gal on the court. I think I saw a picture. Is that like a medical? Like, I never seen that before in my life. He had like a medical. What was that about? Like if you're a patient. What the heck's that? Did you guys? Anybody saw that picture?
I'm not familiar with this.
Come on, guys.
I don't even know what happened, truthfully. But what I will say is, in Massachusetts, where I grew up, I don't even know where I would find a gun store. So, like, there are differences between... No, they don't sell them at Walmart in Massachusetts.
Really?
Meaning, by state, in California, it's very hard to get a gun. It depends on where you're at. And, I mean, you can get a gun if you're a person who's really wanting to get a gun. But the harder you make it, the less they'll be. But, unfortunately, the ones that are out there will be in the hands of people who want it most and are possibly most dangerous. So... I don't even know what the solution is.
Well, Alena lived in Chicago for years, and Chicago is a no-gun zone.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But still, gun violence, you just travel 5 miles out of town, and there's gun stores. It's like, in the swimming pool, designating an area where peeing is forbidden.
That's a really good way to put it, because, like... They say, absolutely illegal, no guns at all within the city of Chicago, but obviously, like, tons of people have guns in Chicago because you're just like, you get on a train and you can buy a gun.
Yeah, I was in Chicago for 3 days a little while ago for a school trip, and we went to go see the Chicago Symphony perform. And when we were pulling up, there were all these police cars like blocking the traffic, and it took us a while to get in because someone had just been shot in the park right next to the Symphony Hall, like 10 minutes before. So yeah, like the security was like really tight in our hotel. They're like, you absolutely cannot leave your room. There's been like an increase in violence. Yeah,
it puts people like us in a very precarious situation. Like my son, I don't have a gun, but my son said, I'm buying a gun as soon as possible. And I asked him why, and he looked at me and said, are you insane? Everybody else has a gun.
That's why I bought one. I got a gun, basically when I got to Kansas, because 90% of people have it. And then know what happened? Obama didn't take my gun. A Republican asshole took my gun. Like, he
What?
Well, so yes.
Which one? Or like, be more specific,
his
please.
name's I will give his actual name, but I'm gonna not, because who knows what could happen from it. But in a very small town in northwest Kansas, near Colby, Hayes area, I was staying in a motel, and we had come to an agreement on what the price would be, and then he changed it, and then changed the locks on the door, and then took my $1,000 computer, $600 knife, my gun that I had, etc., etc. It was a very adamant Trump supporter who took my gun. do we understand the irony there?
Yeah.
That's all. And I only got the gun because these idiots have them to begin with. So, I mean, what am I supposed to... I'm not even going to use it. I don't want to use it. But I felt if I had it, then I at least would be able to... I can't fight. I can't fight a guy with a gun.
Yeah.
So, but then they take my gun, and Obama didn't. But they tell me that that's going to happen.
It'd
so
be very surprised
what
if
the hell?
Obama was in Colby, Kansas.
No,
knocking on
honestly,
the motel
honestly,
door.
he did
He
try
actually
to...
was
Hey,
in Lawrence.
Ben, give me your gun.
He tried to take my gun, but it was already taken.
It was already taken.
He was too late, you know? My point is, they act like they care, but they only care about themselves, you know?
Yeah, Andrei, would you buy a gun if it was allowed?
It is allowed.
I mean, you gotta be 18, right?
They're
Oh,
very
yeah.
loud.
Yeah. I don't even know. Probably not. But I do want to experience going hunting at some point. So maybe for that, or maybe I'll
Hunting for a gun?
No, hunting with a gun actually. But I don't know that I would need to own one to do that. I could probably just probably just phone a friend for that one. So I probably won't own a gun.
One of your friend that like killed like the 40
Yes.
geese.
Yeah. Won't name his name. Yeah. No, he kills an impressive amount.
He's like
Of-
ruining entire ecosystems
Yeah,
single-handedly.
I feel like the Clinton, I don't know where it is, but like around here area, we're losing a lot of geese because of this man.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan loves hunting with
and
was it
arrow.
bow and arrow or
Crossbow maybe?
Yeah, crossbow. Yeah, he hunts with crossbow, so it's doable even without a gun. But I'm not into hunting. So.
I like hunting. I don't have a gun right now, but I have had rifles in the past. I don't know that I've ever had a handgun. I don't know that I would make any kind of argument that I need a gun. It goes like if I was living out in the country and like providing for my own food, then maybe. But that's just not where the population is right now. Like we are almost exclusively an urban country. So I think it's time to start looking at the greater good. If we're not going to outlaw them outright, then at least license them so that you have to have some kind of proficiency to use them. Like just as a start. I think something's got to be done. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. I don't know how to bring it up except to just bring it up. I think we should all take a minute to share a moment of silence for those very, very put upon Supreme Court justices who've had their abortion draft vote leaked. It's horrible. They must feel just in pieces that somebody would violate precedent and go against the rules of what they said they were going to do. So, how do you guys feel about this? Like, I don't know if my sarcasm is coming through sufficiently for the lack of concern that I feel about this. But, I'm just curious. Is there... how about this as a better question? Does anybody think that the judicial system has been damaged because those opinions have been leaked?
Oh, no.
Okay.
The damage is well before that. It's the
Yeah.
people that are in those positions, right?
Happened.
Yeah. Their opinion, which is probably going to just be their opinion,
Uh-huh.
was leaked by, I'm assuming, an aide or someone.
Nobody knows. Like, Clarence Thomas could
It
have
was
done
me.
it his
My
damn
bad.
self. So, the justices are, the Supreme Court justices, largely exclusively the conservative wing of the Supreme Court justices, put together a draft opinion on how they would vote if they got a chance to vote on the Roe versus Wade case.
Do you know what Roe versus Wade is?
No.
So that was what gave women the right to have an abortion.
It's basically whether or not so Roe versus Wade made it legal or like a right to be able to have abortion in some states. I mean, it's not even federally.
It's federal.
I mean, even like Texas doing that weird stuff with the bounty things. You know, there's like
Yeah, and so those laws are actually being fought right now in court.
But they're going to go to the Supreme Court where they're going to say it's all good in the hood.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I think, why don't we have Merrick Garland? Why don't we have Obama's appointee? I don't get why we said it was okay
Right.
to just go, oh, it's not time, and then Trump gets to pick like 3 of them or whatever the hell he got to do. Like, the hypocrisy is unchecked.
Yeah.
And what is the deal with that? Also, why do the men get to choose what the women get to do with their bodies? We don't get it. But we've had this decision for a long time, and it sucks that it's not only going to be potentially overturned, but that they're being so obvious with what they're doing. They're like, hey, here's our whole scheme. Well, we're still going to get away with it. Just deal with it,
Yeah.
right?
And
I mean,
that's-
there's no way to stop them.
Yeah, what's the next draft to be taking voting rights out of women too? Like, I mean,
What are your
it's-
feelings on this, Sophia?
I've seen it coming for a while. Like I'm not at all surprised. It's still aggravating.
Do you think it's going to actually pass?
I think so. I think even though we've seen so much backlash against it and like so many people stepping up and like there have been protests at both the high schools. I think yesterday I was absent from school yesterday, so I was not there. But I've seen like pictures and stuff from the journalism.
Right.
Like I think, I don't know. I feel like our Supreme Court just has a history of not listening to what the people want. So I don't know how much it's going to matter in the end.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it goes through.
I mean, can we all agree Brett Kavanaugh? The fact that he got in is just insanity. I mean,
So
that whole
dig this though.
debacle was
Dig this.
ridiculous.
If you think Brett Kavanaugh's nomination confirmation proceedings were insane, go back and watch Clarence Thomas.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, he's like
Insane.
300 years old though, so like,
It was
he
crazy.
predates the
Dude,
U.S.
but Brett Cry, was what's his
Yeah,
friends?
because he was boofing or whatever, the devil's triangle.
Deer, squeak. Man,
Too
Alena,
busy.
what are your thoughts? Do you
Not
think
fair.
Do you think it's
It's a beer.
like okay? I got a bunch of questions.
He wasn't getting people
Do
pregnant
you
though.
do you have an impression, one way or another, if this is the conservative wing kind of tossing this out to see how much pushback they get, or if it was a warning from like some intern or something that's saying, hey, this shit's going down, we need to stand up and do something?
Okay, you mean intentional leak versus like a?
I think it's probably
Weekly?
more. Yeah, I think it's probably more likely to be a warning from maybe somebody a little bit lower in there, an aide or an intern or something
Right.
who saw their draft opinion. I'm sure they have talked to each other about what they would do in this scenario because they are, especially Barrett was pretty open
Right.
in her private life about her views, which are religious and very powerful
Right.
for that reason, about what she thinks abortion is and where she thinks people who get abortions go and what she thinks the punishment for an abortion should be in a metaphorical sense. And I feel like Kavanaugh, I've read his record on abortion. He seems to only be okay with it when people have disabilities, which in and of itself is crazy.
Yeah.
Like a weird eugenicist kind of thing. So otherwise, he makes it almost impossible. I mean, he made it almost impossible. I read one case where he made it almost impossible for a migrant to get an abortion in Texas. She had immigrated from Mexico. And put her through all kinds of legal loopholes until it was too late. So these people, in general, the makeup of the court, I think is primed and ready. I think Alito was ready when he got that court to craft an opinion, and I think that is the opinion he'll put forward, with probably some edits, given how pissed off people have been with some of the language, like the domestic supply of infants was low. I don't know if you read that line. But there were some lines that were like objectively objectionable criticisms of abortion that he was using in his draft opinion that will change. But I am almost positive the court will reverse Roe v. Wade as soon as they get the opportunity.
if they do you have any expectation that the rest of the government's going to try to do anything to fix it?
You know, I would hope so. I feel like Biden was talking about trying to push through legislation related to women's health and women's wellness that might be able to circumvent some of these issues. I think it's clear why illegalizing abortion would ruin a lot of people's civil rights in this nation. When you don't have control over the trajectory of your life and anybody can basically make you theirs. It's not just that you have a child, it's that you're connected to the person that gave you that child for the rest of your life. And you might lose a career, you might lose a life path, you might lose like your entire being.
Well,
under
and they're
that kind
talking now about like no exemption for rape or anything like that. So yeah,
Well,
it's,
the hypocrisy is the crazy part. I'm going to read the George Carlin quote that you're probably sure of what it's going to be. But it says, pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're pre-born, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked. And I agree wholeheartedly with that.
yeah.
Great quote. Also, it's worth noting that after you're born, the right doesn't mind you getting shot by
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
you know, it's
Way to bring
it's
us home, Devo. Way to bring us home.
but yeah, I dug a little bit in the Roe versus Wade to find out more about the actual case. And Roe is not an actual person. Jane Roe is a pseudonym for a lady named Norma McCarvey. And she had a very, very tough life since she was a child, basically abandoned. And really, really rough growing up. And had like really quickly 3 pregnancies. And she was in Texas and wanted an abortion for the 3rd child. And Texas said, no, it's a crime. You can't do that. And so there were 2 female brilliant lawyers, 2 ladies. One of them, I remember her name was Coffee. That's why I remember it. But they were looking for a case, a landmark case that would allow them to go to the Supreme Court. And they convinced her to bring her situation to the Supreme Court. And this is how it happened. And later on, that lady Norma became, believe it or not, evangelical Protestant and a Catholic, and joined the anti-abortion movement and was one of the most vocal advocates against abortion, and said Roe versus Wade, her being part of Roe versus Wade, was the biggest mistake of her life. Well, get this. This gets even more interesting. This should be a movie.
It's a documentary.
There is, on her deathbed, she gave an interview, and she said she was paid money for anti-abortion activism, and she still believes what she did was correct, but that was her money-making opportunity.
Because her ship had sailed. She had her kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she couldn't. I mean, so like, at that point, she wasn't a part of the in-group that could have kids. So it's like, why not take some money and throw out your entire value system?
It's very cynical, the whole system.
She actually, because she never had an abortion.
The fact that people-
They went back and looked through the records, and the evangelical church was paying her quite a lot for like every single speaking opportunity she had.
But imagine the people who are paying her to go back on her beliefs. Like, what pieces of shit, you know? To use money with someone who probably needs money to get them to like speak out against something that affects not only the thing they care about most, but something that they were intimately involved with.
That's fair, yeah.
And
That's extortion, basically, yeah.
There's hypocrisy all over. I mean, all these justices that were confirmed went out of their way to answer questions during the confirmation hearings about Roe versus Wade, to say that it's a set precedent and the case is concrete and it will not be changed. And they were just lying, looking in the eyes of the senators during confirmation hearing and lying. And this Justice Alito, did you read his...
I read his opinion.
It was
crazy.
it was absolutely ridiculous. It was ridiculous. This is a guy that swore during confirmation that Roe versus Wade is great and it's already 50-year established law, and he in his opinion he used words like what was it that he's egregiously wrong from the beginning.
It's like a political thing. They're not held to any of the promises they're made pre getting on there, and it's a lifetime appointment. So say whatever you want, and then you get on there and you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of rolling back precedent, like as a law student? Because I don't know very much about the.
Can we roll back the
There
lifetime
has
piece?
been, but only for expanding human rights
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
voter rights,
Yeah.
never to restrict them.
Yeah, I think it is necessary sometimes. There is such a thing as bad law. So precedent has a privileged position, but it is not sacrosanct. It definitely deserves to be re-examined in every case. But I agree with Evo. Like, typically when we are reviewing laws, we are doing so with the lens of improving the effect. And it's with human rights as sort of the foundation or backbone. This is weird in that it is... I'm not hearing anybody make a cogent argument towards the rights of women. It's just how much you guys will benefit by being forced to have babies.
Right. Or the what I found weird about the language with the domestic supply of infants thing is that he seemed disturbed that there are not enough orphans in the world right now for women who can't have children to adopt, and it makes it seem like impoverished women to him are breeders for women that want
Handmaid's
kids.
Tale.
And it's very creepy.
It is
Like it's creepy language.
to the point that like it's difficult to realize that this is reality and this is not some like sci-fi movie or something like that. So yeah, it's
So of the 5 justices, Brett Kavanaugh, Justin Clarence Thomas, Alito, Amy Coney Barrett, and Neil Gorsuch, do you think there's a chance of anyone flipping? Because one
Yes.
is enough, and Judge Roberts can actually. The hopes are that he can convince maybe Neil Gorsuch. I don't know.
well.
He's super
so
conservative.
here's the sticky part. Like, yes, Roberts would only need to convince one, but Roberts could convince one and then vote for that same opinion himself. So
That would be the ultimate.
yeah. So I mean, there's technically
Cynicism.
without. Yeah. I mean, the cynical view is that this already has 6 votes.
It's gonna happen next month, guys. In just like 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
So the idea, though, is that any one of them might be far thinking enough to realize that Biden can undo this, like essentially with the stroke of a pen. He can
Yeah.
increase the number of justices, and there's nothing that they can do about it.
Can you do that in an executive order?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know
way.
about that.
Yeah.
I,
So
Yeah.
he can just increase the justice count to 15.
Oh, he can expand the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what? They might be just get pushed far enough for him to do something like this. That's a good
So,
point.
but here's my problem. Like the one thing that the political parties in my lifetime have proved is that conservatives are always willing to push that envelope,
But
and
the-
the liberals
are
are
not.
always willing to back down.
Yes. That is ultimately the problem. And you know what? When Obama had supermajority, there was a movement for him to turn this into an immovable law.
Right.
There is a process, I forgot what it was called, where you can actually take this Roe versus Wade and make it so that the Supreme Court cannot touch it ever. And they chose not to because they believed in Roe versus Wade and they didn't want to galvanize the media, the right, yeah. And so this is stupid. You're overthinking. You're thinking too much about optics. Just do it, man, because that's what the right does. That's what Mitch McConnell does. He just does it, and he doesn't fucking care.
I think that he will be like highly concerned if he signs an order to go from 9 justices to 15 that he will not win re-election because it seems like a ridiculously radical move. I know that people have been talking in law schools though. Like I've talked to people who go to different law schools and stuff about how people have been talking for a while in theory about how it should be 15 and not 9. But I think if he makes that change, he knows that will risk his chance for re-election. I feel like he's more likely to try to combat it through legislation, through Congress.
Good point. Is he even alive right now? We don't know. So the Supreme Court is playing with fire and is playing with their own fortune because they're galvanizing the populace. They did not pay attention that like 80% of Americans are for the woman's right to choose.
Yeah.
And they will galvanize them, and at election time, people will come out and vote, and they can make it so, the populace can make it so that there is a term limit, finally, to the Supreme Justices. And they will be out of there in fucking 4 years. They think they're there for life, and they're sitting back happy and fat, and they will suffer the surprise of their lives because of their irresponsible actions. So.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get a move on because the gentlemen down at the end of the table are like, will these people shut the fuck up about the Supreme Court? Yeah. All right. So let's talk about movies and TV.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Who is your favorite actor in their 20s or 30s?
Jaden Smith.
Who is Jane Smith?
Jaden.
It's Will Smith's kid.
Oh, what? Are you freaking kidding me?
He was in Karate Kid. He was in like
Oh my God,
one of them.
He was bad.
Yeah. No, what? Dude. Oh yeah. Yeah, he does music too.
Oh my
His music's
God.
incredible.
It's awesome.
I love his
But
music.
can he slap like his father? That's the big question.
Really?
Jaden.
I'm literally shocked by that.
Literally.
It's the only
He's
actor I
literally
know.
shocked.
Yeah. Oh my
Here,
God.
look, she was like,
That's awesome.
All right. How about you, Sophia?
I
miss
could
her. Tell her we
if
miss
I
her.
had like known I was gonna come here before today, I could probably have a whole list for you. But currently, literally the single only person I can think of is Paul Dano. I don't know
I like
why.
Paul.
He's just a little funky little guy, you know.
Uh-huh.
He's just so silly to me.
Yeah.
So that's under 30?
Uh-huh.
Between 20 and 30.
No,
I
no,
think-
between 20 and 40.
Between 20
I
and
think
40.
yeah. I don't. He's young-ish.
Yeah, he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
So what is he in?
He's in Little Miss Sunshine and Swiss Army Man and the new Batman and yeah.
He was
He's
the creepiest Riddler.
yes, dude. He's
ever.
so scary.
Oh, he
Listen,
was the Riddler?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
no,
was
I know.
so good. I am
was
not a
good.
fan of superhero movies usually.
Get out of my table.
No. Listen. Because usually for me, it's like the humor always feels out of place. Like it feels like the mood is never consistent.
Uh-huh.
With the new Batman,
Uh-huh.
the acting was a little iffy sometimes with some of the characters, but it was pretty consistent in it.
Oh. Robert Pattinson is under 40.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was good.
Robert Pattinson was
very
good.
good.
I'm not talking about him.
He's like
I'm not talking
top
about
5
him.
actors of all time.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about
He's
him.
not
The Batman.
He's top 2 and he's not 2. Anyways, it was a good movie. I liked it a lot. And I really like, because I feel like the Riddler is such a goofy character, you know?
Whoa,
like
whoa,
he
whoa, he's
really
menacing.
No, he is menacing in this one.
He made a rat eat a guy. From
I
the
saw. I
inside.
watched
It was
the movie.
really
It was
gross.
scary. It was really good.
Yeah,
I
that's
liked it a
so
lot.
goofy.
Like, even in the beginning when he's like,
Oh.
when he's in the room with the bear.
It freaked me out. But like,
I was on his live stream actually.
Hey guys, thanks for coming to my live stream. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
500 followers. That's my favorite. I love it. I love it.
Talk about the ambush we made after the movie. No.
Did you guys kill somebody after the movie?
No. It just involved a shopping cart. It's
Yeah, no, yeah, it's
Sorry for when the mics aren't on.
Oh, okay. That's fair. All right. Do you guys, Evo, do you have a one that you would pick?
Younger actors, I think the greatest American actors right now, women or men, are in their 40s and 50s.
Well, we're coming to them.
Every actor.
We're coming to them.
Yeah.
We're coming to them.
But as far as young ones, all of the young ones under 30, for me, my favorite ones are women. I think
I agree.
Anna Taylor-Joy is
Oh, yeah.
fantastic in everything she does. Everything. She was spectacular in The Witch when she was only 18. She was incredible in Queen's Gambit. Absolutely spellbinding. She was amazing in Split. I just watched The Northman, where she stole the show completely. Every frame she was in was incredible. She just, everything she does, and that's acting. That's just good acting. I think I know who's Alena's favorite young actor is.
Well, let
I'm
Alena
not going
tell
to
us.
give it away. I'm not going to give it away. And under 40, when it comes to guys, I really don't know. I mean, I can't. I like everybody in that show Euphoria. I like everybody acting.
I've not seen it.
Zendaya, like the guys are incredible. I don't know how much of this is direction. The director does that maybe, but it's cast so perfectly and everybody's incredible. I think Adam Driver is under 40, but I can't stand that guy nowadays. Everybody's in love with Adam Driver.
Why am I a comedian?
Oh, I am a comedian. That's a horrible. Do not watch that. What was the name of that movie about the stupid doll?
I don't remember.
Oh my God! It was about a doll. He had a wife, and they gave birth to a doll. And oh my God! It was the worst movie I've ever seen. It won the Palme d'Or in Cannes. It won the Golden Palm. It was a musical, and Adam Driver. When I see his stupid face, I just can't stand him. I think everybody's in love with him. I think he's pretentious and overrated. So I don't like him. I really don't know if there's any good male actor under the age of 40 right now. But I do love Anna Taylor-Joy. I love the under 40 actor that Alena's gonna mention.
I think I'm gonna maybe.
Yeah. So
Please
yeah,
disappoint.
yeah. No, she's not. But yeah, go ahead. Fernando.
Well, I'll give one evil, and he's getting there. Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, he's good in that show, but I haven't seen him in anything else.
Well, Fargo.
Succession.
Fargo.
He was in Fargo.
Fargo
How-
season 2.
Wait, who was he in Fargo season 2?
He was one of the son of the mobs, like that he got murdered on a second episode.
Oh, he got murdered really early. That's right.
And
he
there is
was
some
good.
flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah. No, he is good. He's great in Succession, and he's gonna get a lot of work nowadays because of Succession. So he's definitely better than his brother. Yeah, I agree. He's good.
Andrei, Crow, do you guys watch TV or movies at all?
Dude, they already said Jaden
actually,
Smith.
I have a favorite.
My
Okay, who's your
Don't say
favorite?
Tom Holland.
oh,
please,
favorite
no.
movie?
No.
Ew.
Oh wait,
No,
favorite
favorite
actor,
movie.
favorite movie.
Favorite actor.
Favorite actor or actress?
My favorite actor is Greg Cohen, the star of Velocipaster. He played Doug.
Velocity what?
It is.
Oh!
In his breakout role as Doug.
Velocipaster. It's like Spider-Man,
He's a pastor.
but this dude named Doug, who's a pastor, travels to China to find himself, and then he picks up this like Velociraptor tooth.
Oh, and
No,
then
he-
they
and then-
meet Pterodactyr.
No, the Velociraptor tooth cuts his hand, and he gets like Velociraptor powers. But he's also being chased by
Ninjas.
the Chinese ninjas who are
pushing
trying
cocaine.
to get everyone cocaine and then take it away, so that way their leader thinks they're God. So he has to stop that.
Watch out,
And-
Academy Awards.
And well, he also gets a girlfriend who was a hooker.
of course.
And
Mermaid
her
Frankie.
boss was named Frankie Mermaid.
Ricky Mermaid.
He's my favorite actor. His name's Fernando. I don't even know. Fazio De Castro. He's great.
Okay, I'm curious about Alena's
That's what he
now.
looks like.
Oh, mine.
Yeah. Your favorite.
He's got a skullet.
Mine's Julia Garner.
Julia Garner.
So I have two.
Correct.
Ah,
So he's the girl from
I
Ozark.
needed to not say it.
I was
You guessed
absolutely
it.
correct.
So mine is Julia Garner. She was in Ozark, but she was also in a television show called Inventing Anna. She's also been in a few independent movies. She was in an independent movie. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a take on that Weinstein thing, The Assistant, where she played a predatory producer's assistant, and that was a fascinating movie that she did an incredible job in. She is unrecognizable from role to role.
Yes.
Her entire persona and character is completely like changeable at a second.
Her
And
accent.
you could meet her and not know that she's Julia Garner. That's an actress.
Yeah.
Like that's, to me, that is what it takes to be a really, really good actress.
Yeah.
The other one I was gonna pick, I don't know if he's under 40, but I was also gonna pick Sacha Baron Cohen.
He is not under 40.
No.
He's
He's
not.
a-
Save
he's-
it
He's
for the
in
next
He's
one.
closer
Okay,
to
so
50.
I'll leave Julia Garner. I'll
Yeah.
give Sacha Baron Cohen the next one.
Yeah. I wanted to say that I correctly predicted Alena's
Good job.
choice.
Yeah, you did it.
Julie Gardner, I know how much she loves her, and she's absolutely correct. And she in Ozark has a southern accent and is incredibly convincing. Whereas in Inventing Anna, she has a Russian accent, Russian German accent, and nails it. And like you said, she's a chameleon, one of the greatest actresses of this new generation, and a future winner of many Academy Awards, I believe. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Ben, favorite actor between 20 and 40 years old? And by actor, male or female?
And no Pornhub.
No Pornhub's allowed. I need a new list.
So I can't say myself. Okay.
Can't say yourself.
Shoot. Okay. Can you give me one more person, or is that last?
You're the last one.
No, I haven't gone yet.
Can you go first?
Yeah.
Just that you sprung
So
it
let
on
me
me.
let me tell you
instantaneously.
who we mentioned so far.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Who are
no,
some
it's
favorites?
okay, Evo. Actually,
So he doesn't repeat.
Okay.
So Julie Gardner from Ozark, and I mentioned Zendaya, and I talked about Anna Taylor-Joy, and Greg Cohen was
I know
mentioned.
you're a big Greg Cohen fan, so I'm really sorry.
Fernando, I'm not sure.
Jaden Smith.
Kieran
trying to get my
Culkin.
answer.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin was mentioned. So
And now, I was Anna Taylor-Joy is actually top of my list for actresses.
oh my God.
Is Zendaya
I'm
been mentioned?
sorry.
Huh?
Yes.
I
Zen-
barely mentioned
Okay.
her,
Yeah,
but
just
You're
good
making
for
sure
her.
you gave her name right.
Yeah.
Online.
Zendaya.
Zendaya.
Ivo?
The other two folks that I picked for between 20 and 40 are Daniel Kaluuya. Anything I see Daniel Kaluuya in, he's and so for me, as I'm going through my list of my favorites, I'm looking for either people that typify acting, like you described, you can't tell who they are from role to role, or people that I just enjoy watching. And so for me, Anna Taylor-Joy fits both of those categories. She's distinctive enough looking that you
Yeah.
always know that it's Anna Taylor-Joy, but the characters are so varied that you can't tell
Yes.
anything about her from watching her characters.
Yeah, she will be Furiosa, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
She takes over Charlize Theron's in Mad Max.
Nice.
And she will be playing in Nosferatu, another Robert Eggers movie, the guy that made the guy that made The Witch and The Northman and The Lighthouse. Is making now Nosferatu, and she of course is going to be in it.
And the other one that I had was Florence Pugh. She kind of plays the same character in everything that she does, but I enjoy that character and I enjoy her. So
Yeah,
I have my answer.
go for
Okay.
it.
Okay, it's a three-way tie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
yes.
Ryan Gosling. Sorry, no, not Ryan Gosling. James McAvoy and Idris Elba.
No. Those people are all
McAvoy is over 40. Yeah.
I'm looking at a list.
I bet your list is from 2010.
Well, I only had 2 seconds to read it.
But Gordon
Really
Hewitt
leads
is
up
under
the wire.
40.
Idris Elba
So
looks
he's
like
good.
he's in.
Idris Elba is 49.
Yeah.
He's going to be the next
49?
James Bond.
So
How do you
we're going
know
to
that off
take
the top of your
your
head?
answer as the part 2 of this question. Best favorite 40 to
Is
60 year
JGL in
old
the
actor.
category or no? Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Did he
I
make
think he's over 40.
Fudge
no,
Parker.
I think he's under 40.
I'll
What's
check
the
and
raising
see.
hand?
All right, who's best favorite
I struck
actor
out
between
big
40 and 60?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen.
He
That's
is
a good choice.
so good at everything he does, and
That's
he's.
a good choice.
I don't know if you guys have like seen any of his interviews like outside of anything. He is so funny. He doesn't know anything that he's doing. He just wings it.
Yeah,
he
he's born in
did-
81.
Who's Max Mikkelsen?
He's 42.
He plays Hannibal in the NBC series. He was the bad guy in Casino Royale. He's like a Danish actor. He's my favorite. But like, my favorite thing is watching him like talk on like interviews and stuff because he just doesn't know what's going on.
I've never seen
I
him
don't
on
know.
an interview.
I don't know if you've seen his social media pages either. God, dude, he's perfect. He's so entertaining on and off the screen. I love that guy so much.
I'm
He's
gonna
so funny.
check him out because I enjoy everything
No,
he's in.
He didn't know anything about James Bond walking into the audition.
Right.
He was just winging it. And then he got the part, and so then he had to watch all the movies to make sure he knew the context.
I'd love to see Mads Mikkelsen actually play a good guy. That would be like the most
I know
interesting
he's
thing.
really good at playing bad guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's so fun.
All right, who wants next? Anybody?
I was gonna,
All right, Crow, go for it.
From 40 to 60.
40 to 60, yeah.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. He's on my list.
Right
Damn
on.
it. Damn it.
I feel like I don't know Andres.
Mine is a three-way tie
Oh.
between Thomas Cruise,
Yep.
Nicolas Cage,
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
and Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
The three
man.
most-
That's
forgot
a
the
good-
trifecta.
The three
Yeah.
Shakespearean actors.
Dude, I forgot about Nick
Nicolas
Cage.
Keanu.
Have you guys seen Nick Cage in Wally's World?
No.
Watch
Okay.
it. Oh, wait, no, Willy's Wonderland.
Oh,
Willy's
okay,
Wonderland. Watch it. It's so bad. It's incredible.
There's supposedly a new movie with Nicolas Cage that's
About his
absolutely
life.
brilliant. That's called The Unbearable Weight of Being a Genius.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's about him.
Yes.
You know, about his acting skills.
Yes.
And it's
With,
supposed to be spectacular.
Pedro-
Can't wait to watch it. There's compilations on YouTube of Nicolas Cage laughing in different movies. And he has maybe the worst laugh of all time in movies or anywhere else.
Ray Liotta and was it Goodfellas?
No,
Yeah.
you know who else I totally just
It's
forgot
really
about?
nasty.
Who's that?
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Oh, yeah.
I love
He's
Don
good.
Cheadle.
He was in Space Jam 2: A New Legacy.
He
right?
was.
He was.
Oh,
He was the bad
That
guy.
that was his
He's
breakout role.
what's the name of the
Algae Rhythm.
Algae Rhythm?
Watch out, Academy Awards.
I know, dude. My king.
You
I
know,
go?
that movie is called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I almost nailed it.
I'm gonna forget otherwise.
All right, what
I've
you
got my three:
What you got? Give me three.
Perfecto.
Give me three.
John Hamm, Aaron Paul, and
Breaking Bad.
Christian Bale.
Nice.
Christian Bale was
I
good.
like it. I like it.
Aaron Paul is just Breaking Bad, though.
No, he isn't. He's in BoJack Horseman.
He was in one of the,
That show's great.
And Westworld too.
and wasn't he in one of the Fast and Furious too?
Yeah.
I
Oh no,
don't.
no, he was in the.
I
knockoff.
can't speak
He was
intelligently
in a,
on
it
Fast
was a
Oh,
series
yes.
altogether, but yeah.
Too fast, too furious.
All of these Shakespearean actors, man,
Yeah.
so good.
Alena, 40 to 60.
I'm picking. Okay, I just googled it too. I was way off. Sacha Baron Cohen is 50, so definitely not
So
under
young, he's
30.
short. But he's always looked the same. It's
Yeah.
very
That's
interesting. Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Sacha Baron Cohen for very similar reasons that I picked Julia Garner.
Yes.
He's unrecognizable from role to role. His characters and personas are completely different, new, and original. And if you walked in the room, you wouldn't know he was Sacha Baron Cohen.
His best,
So that's a really good actor.
his best move was, I think, his best role was a role that he didn't take, and he was a Freddie Mercury.
He should have been Freddie Mercury.
He should have been
and he
Freddie
refused
Mercury.
it because he felt that this was a commercialized
And he was correct.
project, and he was correct. He was hijacked by the surviving members of Queen that turned it into an advertisement
Yeah.
for the band and really stripped it of all the interesting nuances of Freddie Mercury's life. And
He would've
so
killed that role.
great move. He refused the project. He was working on it. And he said, "I'm gonna abandon it. I don't care about Academy Awards or anything else." Great job.
Best
I'm gonna switch
Sacha
my
Baron Cohen role.
Ali
What's
G.
I like.
Ali G.
I love
I
Ali G.
actually like him in Hugo a lot.
He does do an incrable job in
he
Hugo.
was incredible
I
in
am
Hugo.
distributed and upset that nobody else
Talladega
picked
Nights.
Talladega
Shake and
Nights.
bake.
Shake
You
and
can't
bake.
go.
Oh, yeah!
The French.
Forgot it's him.
For me, it's
He's
Borat.
the French
I mean,
driver.
Borat's too funny. It's too
Borat
funny
is
how
brilliant.
much he plays the dumb, like the Mr. Beanish foreigner.
The racist, like East
Oh, what he
European.
can get out of
That's
people,
the
too.
Thing.
I
The
love it.
whole like throwing the money at the Jewish.
Yeah, that's why I'm changing my answer from Aaron Paul to Sacha Baron Cohen. By the way,
shit he pulled in the
great
second
call.
one was just insane.
Yeah.
And we walked in like into the conservative, like the National Conservative Convention or
Yeah.
whatever. Oh my god.
Sacha Baron Cohen got eclipsed in his last movie by a Bulgarian actress. Her name is Maria Bakalova, and she actually was nominated for an Academy Award
Yeah. Yep.
for Borat. That alone is freaking shocking.
Yeah.
That tells you how good, incredibly good she was.
Yeah.
And she improvised a lot of it, was incredibly brave, and put Rudy Giuliani in a insane
Dude,
situation.
that was so funny.
And Maria is an incredible human being.
Yeah,
And,
brave woman.
And everybody that knows her in Bulgaria absolutely loves her. The only person that was upset with her success and the Academy Award nomination was her professor from the School of Theater in Bulgaria, who was clearly jealous of her success.
And
But-
she interviewed the vampire, like Rudy
Yeah.
Giuliani.
Yeah,
like,
she did the interview with the vampire, and she's only 25, so she's under 40, so we should have mentioned her in the previous.
yeah, I should have mentioned her. I didn't even.
But I myself, I vote for the Batch. Everybody loves Cumberbatch.
I didn't even think of the Cumberbatch.
His face scares me.
The Batch. The Batch.
I kind of feel like he's like not pleasant and overrated. Like
You think he's
I
alright
agree,
like
I
Adam
agree.
Driver?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The Batch is.
The Batch is my
is
Adam
a-
Driver.
No, the Batch is a powerhouse.
We're not in the
man.
60s yet, right?
Not yet.
So-
Not yet. We're
No,
almost there.
The Batch is 47
Cumberbatch
years
is what,
old.
47?
Yeah, and then close second, or maybe ahead of him, I put Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, he was in Batman, guys. Come on.
Tom?
He was Bane. He was the bad guy. The problem is he wears a mask. The problem with Tom Hardy, his biggest problem is in almost every movie he acts in, he wears a mask from beginning to end. So you can't tell it's him.
Evo, say his name again?
Tom Hardy.
I hear Cardi.
Hardy.
Like the way you say it, though,
Yeah.
it gives me a C.
Why are you thinking
Don't-
about Cardi B right now?
Yeah, dude.
Tom Hardy is.
It's the-
He's getting there for the
So
060.
he was wearing a fucking mask in Batman. He was wearing a mask
In
in
Inception, he was great, though.
Inception.
His
he-
best
Mad Max?
role.
Was
His
he in Mad
best role was in Peaky Blinders.
Oh, he was
Oh.
incredible. Yeah.
I didn't get that far.
He was the Jewish gangster.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. I can't even think of his name.
Season 2?
He's frightening. He can be frightening,
Yep.
and he's chameleonic as well. He was wearing a mask in Mad Max almost from beginning to end,
Yeah, I did. That's why I asked if he was in Mad Max. Yeah.
and he was wearing a mask in Dunkirk. From beginning to end, flying an airplane.
Was
Poor
he-
guy was cursed to wear a mask.
Did he perform in The Man in the Iron Mask or no?
He
Or
probably
Phantom of
was,
the
but we
Opera?
can't tell. I think it was Leonardo DiCaprio. But he was also in a small movie that blew my mind, where the entire movie was just him driving a car.
Oh,
And
what is it called?
I'll remember it in
Hardy's driving a car.
I'll remember it in a
Drive
second.
Hardy?
You couldn't catch your breath, man. It was him driving a car, no other actors
Are you
in
sure?
the movie.
Are you-
And it was just him talking on the phone and driving a car. And you were breathless from beginning to
I
end.
think I saw it.
It was incredible. What was the name of the movie? Lou will Google it probably.
I know. I'm thinking of like Drive, but then it's Ryan Gosling.
It's a one word and it's a name.
Lock. L-O-C-K-E.
Lock. Yeah. Lock.
That was a good one.
And it was absolutely spectacular. And I mean, it takes massive skill to pull that off.
Whenever there's a one scene movie like that,
Yeah.
or like one person, one
It's a
scenario
theatrical
thing,
play.
love it. If they
Yeah.
can pull it off, so impressive.
Like Phone Booth was. Phone Booth was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other ones would classify.
Is Brad Pitt? Brad Pitt's under 60.
He's under 60.
Brad Pitt is fantastic at everything he does. Everything.
Yeah.
I just watched him and I was dying laughing. He was
Yeah,
in
he
a
does a
movie
good
with
job.
Sandra Bullock. Oh my God,
We went inside at the theater.
he was in 10 minutes.
Great.
He was 10-15 minutes in the movie.
Yeah.
He stole the entire movie. It was
We were talking earlier before we got here. True Romance. He's in that. Remember?
he was great in that. No, that's a brand new movie with Sandra Bullock. It was called The Lost City, and he just steals the show. I like how selective he's become, as he's almost 60 now, and he's choosing carefully his roles. You don't see him every other month in a movie.
Which
and
bracket is he in?
He's 40 to 60.
He's 40.
He's 59.
Fernando, have we gotten one from you yet?
Not yet, but I mean it's so tough. Like there is so many talented people, and I mean I cannot tell that they're the best, but you know it's people that highlight like even from old movies to you know some small parts that they just start showing up more than the last few years. So let's Ewan McGregor, disregarding man. I think you know
He's
those
always
things,
good.
and perhaps it was just you know the transporting and you know other things, but he still do talent stuff.
He was great in Fargo. He played two
Oh, yeah.
roles in Fargo season 3.
Was him playing two guys? No, I know that.
Two brothers.
brothers.
Yeah, it
cop.
was so good.
And Laura Dern,
Oh yeah.
she acts since she was super young
Yes.
and phenomenal. Still do shows and a lot of good stuff. And let's put, Michael Shannon.
Oh, I love Michael Shannon.
And I'm gonna need to
Everything he does is great.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Wright too.
Jeffrey Wright.
He was now he's on. Actually, he's being in Batman, being as the inspector.
Okay.
But I know him from.
Yeah.
Can I add two more that I just can't? Because I
Yes.
only had one earlier.
Yeah.
Laura Linney
Yes, she's incredible.
and Guy
Also-
Pearce.
Yeah, Guy Pearce.
Both of them.
Will Ferrell deserves an honorable mention.
Oh, yeah, we didn't mention comedic.
Oh
other
man,
than
we were
Sasha.
thinking serious. We were thinking serious.
He's not very. He's younger.
No, he's definitely 40 to 60.
It takes a special skill like Melissa McCarthy and Will Ferrell that you start laughing just looking at them. You know, that's instant comedy. Just they bring the laugh just with their presence. It's quite an amazing energy.
Jack Black.
Yeah, he disappeared.
How old is that guy?
Yeah.
I'll look
Jack
him up.
Black.
He's in his 50s.
Oh my god, I love his TikTok. It's
He
so
has a
good.
fantastic
his little Five Nights at Freddy's dance.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
He's 52.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
we get
that's
one
about
from
right.
you yet, Alena?
Yeah, I did Julia Garner and Sasha Baron
Oh, yeah,
Cohen
you were
for the
Sasha
same
Baron Cohen.
reasons.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Then Lou,
Did we get
right?
one from?
Oh, we
am
got
I
like
last?
I got
10 from
3.
him.
Yeah, I
Okay,
got
so
three.
I have a group. I think I've heard the names at least a couple of times. I got Ryan Reynolds, who just he always plays the same character, but I
Same
love that
guy,
character.
But yeah,
Tom Hardy made my list.
yeah,
Idris Elba made my list.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Charlize Theron, like she's
fantastic.
always good, and like she can. Well, she played Monster. Like
Yeah.
she went from being Charlize Theron to like the Wicked Witch of the West in the what was the the Huntsman, was that
Oh,
the
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
To Monster, and Salma Hayek.
Yes, and you reminded me. I forgot somebody. So I've been watching a TV show on Showtime called The Man Who Fell on Earth
Yes.
with Chiwetel Ejiofor,
Uh-huh.
and he plays an alien, and it's freaking incredible to watch.
phenomenal.
Incredible. The things he does with his face are unreal. Absolutely incredible. I haven't seen stuff like that since Jim Carrey contorted his face in a million different ways. But this guy is just unfreaking believable. And at the end, I wanted to mention Tom Hardy was on your list, and Idris Elba was on your list, and those two are the front runners to be the next James Bond. It's between those two. We'll get the next James Bond.
All right,
last
last
one.
group of the bunch, 60 or over.
Oh,
That's old. Yes. All right, Sophia, go for it.
Danny DeVito.
Hey!
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
I did not
Did you know-
expect this.
Did you know I have a prayer candle with his face instead of like the Virgin Mary?
Did you know
I did-
we
I did
all
know
have a prayer candle?
Yeah.
With it?
Who doesn't?
Dude, he's so good. I
Oh,
love
Danny
him. I love.
DeVito.
I love. It's Always Sunny. I love whatever else he did. I don't know. He's incredible. I just love watching him roll around.
Twins
Twins.
with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
I just
Twin brothers.
my favorite thing.
You know they're coming out with a new one, right?
oh come on.
No.
Yeah, I think it's called Triplets. I'm being 100% serious.
Oh gosh.
I'm
I
being
just-
100% serious.
I wonder who the triplet is.
Mm-hmm.
I love that guy. My favorite.
Let me guess, Denzel. We didn't mention Denzel. Oh, he's over 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denzel's over 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, one of my favorite Danny DeVito moments is in It's Always Sunny, like when he is completely bald, like he has stripped his hair. No, oh my God, the couch is good. When he stripped his body of all hair and has bathed himself in hand sanitizer and is crawling around on the floor like a little snail. It's so good.
Yeah, something
Evo.
is fundamentally wrong
We're
with
so
you.
goddamn close.
Oh my god! It's Eddie Murphy?
Yes.
Oh my god, I was so close.
Oh, twins.
Oh
twins?
my god. So I need to write script. I need to write scripts. I was right there. Oh my god.
Literally just had. My last
Oh, that's
podcast,
gonna
I
be
released
glorious. Oh my
And we did the
god.
worst.
So Louis, for our listener in Norway, Louis is showing us a picture, a poster of the movie, the upcoming movie, The Triplets, where Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger are joined by their triplet, Eddie Murphy, of course. Oh, fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. Incredible.
Okay, I've got my three. You mentioned one a second ago. Jim Carrey.
Oh.
Is he over 60?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ted
Whoa.
Danson.
Oh yeah.
And Kevin Spacey, even though he got canceled. His
Yeah.
acting is so good.
He's always been good. Kevin Spacey has always been good. There's so many good actors over 60 now. You
So
know?
I have this theory that if you are an actor that makes it over 60, you're a really good actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, anybody over 60 that's still in the sphere,
Yeah.
that person is a good actor. Yeah.
So-
It's almost like longevity matters.
So I was thinking, in the last 10 years, things have changed. The paradigm has shifted in sports. We have LeBron James at 37 is the leading scorer in the National Basketball Association. 37, unthinkable.
Hey, I'm 37. Does that mean I can do it too?
I mean, it means the NBA dream is not gone, Ben. You still can make it.
I need you to coach me.
Yes, let's go and shoot after the podcast. But
Everybody.
we have LeBron James. We have Chris Paul at 37, who is on the brink of making the finals. We have Roger Federer is 40-something. We have Novak Djokovic, number one in tennis.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady III.
Thomas Patrick
Edward.
Edward Patrick Brady is going to be
third.
45 this
Tom Brady?
summer,
Oh.
and he's playing in the NFL. He's one of the best quarterbacks. Yes?
Did we talk about how he only came to be because Drew Bledsoe got injured?
Yes, but
I'm
we're
saying
talking.
That's the only reason he got to play.
Yes, that's true. But the topic is longevity. So
Who knows what would have happened?
yeah, we can go on an incredible tangent here. But
let's
what
not.
I was trying to make a point that things have changed, and we are now in a place because nutrition, science, people taking care of their bodies and their craft has gone to a new level where longevity is defying all expectations and is kind of canceling the past. And so, is this the same thing happening with acting? Because there's a lot of actors that Brad Pitt looks like he's 35. If he dyes his beard. You look at people like Sean Penn. People look younger than they actually are and act younger than they are and are very successful over the age of 60. It doesn't feel like their career is in any decline whatsoever. So
I don't-
maybe that's
They don't
it.
appear to be a senior citizen.
No.
I don't
It's
think the visual presentation or the physical presentation is what matters for a quality actor.
Yeah.
I think that there are enough attractive people in the world
Yeah.
that if that were all it took to be an actor for your entire lifetime,
Yeah.
then all sorts of people would be making money being actors. I think that longevity has always been important in acting. Maybe in different time periods it's more important to look young
Yeah.
or contemporarily culturally attractive. But in general, acting, I think, is about accessing emotional memories
Yeah.
and using them to create a character
Of course.
in your behavior, and the people that are the best at that are all going to be over 60 because they have a lifetime of emotional shit to reference.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
And I feel like they also come from an era where classical theatrical education meant more. whereas nowadays the younger stars are mostly based on their Instagram appearance, and popularity. But at the same time, people do look younger, and that expands their range. As they get older, they can actually, like Brad Pitt, we just watched him in The Lost City playing an action role. He's going to be in the World War Z Part 2. He's going to be an action star again.
There's
Leonardo,
also
yeah?
something to be said about it. So what you're saying is true generally, but some people sleepwalk through life and get to 60 without really experiencing things. And some people are just so prolifically good at what they do as an actor, even at a young age, that they would outshine anyone regardless. So like longevity has this thing, but innate talent and like just honing your craft and really practicing whatever the 10,000 hour thing, which again you mentioned is who knows if it's true, but like whether those 10,000 hours happen real quick and before you're 40, or if you spread it out to be later, I feel like you can definitely skip a lot of those hours if you have an innate ability to, because acting is a weird one where you're trying to just be the most normal human in that situation.
Alena said something incredibly valuable. You are referencing your past selves, and when you have lived a long time, you have more reference points.
True.
When you embody a character, you can reach into your bag of experiences and emotional turmoil and
if you're
life.
a 60-year-old accountant though who's barely done anything besides go to work every day, that's a different life than someone who's 35 and lived a crazy experience.
That's
traveling the world or whatever.
So who's next? So who's got an actor?
I got a list. I have a list of actors, and I just
So I say
was,
everyone else go first?
yeah. I think I was actually going to suggest that.
Lose the grand finale. Andrei, you have something to say?
Oh, I mean, if I have to, I would say my personal. I don't think he's like one of the best, but I think my personal favorite is Bruce Willis because I watch Die Hard so much. It's like one of my favorite movies. And then Samuel L. Jackson, I think, is probably one of the best.
My middle name's Willis, and I have the same haircut, so.
Kroby.
have a weak spot for Bruce.
Kroby Bryant, who's your favorite?
Over 60?
Over
Yeah.
60.
I'm just going to assume that Morgan Freeman's over 60.
Amen.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's definitely my favorite.
84, I think. Yeah.
Wait, who plays?
Or who was the coach in Remember the Titans? I like
Denzel.
Oh
I like
yeah. Andrei, do you know who plays Papa Priest in Velocipaster? Whoever plays the older priest in Velocipaster.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I think he's no longer with us.
Yeah, no, he's famous. Everyone knows him. You see him and you're like, oh, that's the guy from Velocipaster. Dude, you have to watch this movie. It's it's only like 40 minutes.
Evo, I think we have a movie night coming up.
Velocipaster, T-Rex creational specialist. Is another good movie title.
No, the last fight
The
scene is
last
epic.
fight scene, it rivals Endgame.
Pterodactyl.
Did you just say it rivals Endgame?
It rivals the orcs marching in. Like it's.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
The budget on the movie had to be
Velocipaster.
This reminds me of.
Yeah, that.
Let me. I'll drop three, but it's very unfair. There is zillions of like people, so many good actors. So let's just put three great names just for the, to shout like John Malkovich,
Oh.
yes. Steve Buscemi,
Oh yeah.
John Turturro.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The three handsomest actors.
What about Willem
They're
Dafoe?
incredible. Willem Dafoe's got to be on somebody's list.
Yeah, I love Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe's good.
Yeah, he's such a funny. He
All
goes,
right, Alena, did we get one from you?
I give you like Meryl Streep, everybody knows,
Yeah.
and Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren was like literally when I came up with the question, like it was because of Helen Mirren.
Great. That's
And
good.
I've made you guys go through the last 45 minutes of naming other actors.
To get to Helen
to
Mirren.
get to Helen Mirren.
I like her a
She's
lot,
phenomenal.
yeah.
She's-
She's good.
I just want to mention for the people here who have not watched the movie Platoon, it's an Oliver Stone movie from the 1980s. That's where I first saw William Dafoe, ever. And this movie, I didn't think I watched it a couple of months ago, and I didn't realize how incredibly well it has aged. This movie, it seems like it was made yesterday. It is so freaking good. Oliver Stone used to have the magic touch. Now everything he touches is a disaster, but that movie has aged spectacularly, and William Dafoe and Tom Berenger are absolutely unbelievable.
And Charlie Sheen.
And even Charlie Sheen, yeah.
All right, are we ready for
Yep.
the list? So some of these names have been mentioned already. These are actors in their 80s, and this is why I came up with the idea that you were sharing with me, Alena, that like once you get to a certain age, if you're still in acting, you're just great. Listen to this collection of names: Morgan Freeman,
Oh yeah.
Al Pacino,
Yeah.
Chuck Norris,
Oh, yeah.
Jack
Academy
Nicholson.
Awards.
Oh,
watch
yeah.
out.
Anthony Hopkins, Patrick Stewart, Christopher Lloyd, Ian McKellen.
None of them act
Oh,
anymore. though.
Sometimes.
Well, Patrick Stewart just was in a movie, and Ian
Morgan
McKellen.
Freeman, yeah.
I'm going to skip Paul Hogan. I think he's just listed on the list. Michael Caine, Dustin Hoffman, Robert Redford, David McCallum, John Cleese, Jimmy Caan, George Takei. And then we get to some not quite so awesome ones. But, like, it feels like if you're still in the trade by that age, especially like 80, 90 years old, it is because you've basically made your bones and you are, like,
Yeah.
bona fide great. So,
Yeah, by the time by the time you make it to your 80s, you have to have just like proved yourself as long-lasting, almost icon of the.
If you can still get work at this age,
Industry.
I mean, I watched De Niro in the Irishman, and it was kind of painful to watch. The fight.
That was The
scenes and-
Irishman, though. That wasn't De Niro
yeah, I feel
so
like
much.
that was more a function of the Irishman than a
That's
function of
true.
those guys.
That's true.
All right. Anybody want to mention before we move on to the next
Nope.
question?
Nope. Let's move on.
All right. Hold on. I lost all my questions here. Give me just a second. Let's see.
Watch Platoon. It's a freaking awesome movie.
There's
It is.
one really like rough scene. I will warn everyone.
It's
It's a good movie.
there is a
Yes.
a little bit of an interesting battle between good and evil, and with Charlie Sheen in the middle, and two characters representing ultimate good and ultimate evil, and
Terrence and Philip.
yeah, it was.
Those are
it
the
was
two
very
least
good.
threatening names ever.
And the acting, the execution of the movie is just absolutely amazing.
It's a good study in how people lose their humanity in
Yes.
a wartime situation.
Almost
And
every war movie is the best one being Apocalypse Now, but this one is.
All right. What is your what do you think will be the tipping point for cannabis becoming legal at a federal level?
Joe Biden smoking weed in the White House.
That's not going to do it.
I don't think that would do
You
it.
don't think so?
Yeah.
Financial ramifications from finally reaching them because it's insane how much money Colorado,
That's it.
Washington, California, they're making money hand over fist. Why do they cling to the guns and all the other things when they can have crops? They're in the places where you can grow crops.
It's always the money. You're absolutely right. I agree. I 100%.
They see those dollar bills, they're going to go, okay, well, we could grow this and tax this.
Yeah.
That's the way to get to their heartstrings or their whatever they
So
call
what do
it.
you think's going to make it so that people will recognize? Because right now, nobody technically knows how much money they're making because
Well, like CBD is a good trial run because now that's federally legal, and they'll see the amount of money that's coming from hemp production, and that's
It's
a
just
slippery slope of like you're really close to the same thing, and then you get the Delta 9 and all that other weird stuff. So like they're getting really close to it.
Yeah, so I feel like the tipping point most likely will be the realization of how much the neighboring state, how much better they're doing financially. For example, we're in Kansas.
Right.
Neighboring state is Colorado. And when the roads start getting significantly better in Colorado,
And not only that, they made it so that the first money from it had to go to schools.
Yes.
They like did all sorts of cool things to make sure, and then there's some arts stuff. There's like they made it so that it had to impact it in certain ways, so that it would be seen as a benefit.
money.
So whatever Kansas is into, they can make sure it goes into their college basketball program or whatever the hell it is.
So you have an incredibly wealthy state next door because of the tax money coming from one of the biggest industries, fastest growing industries in the country, and at the same time, if you cross the border with something completely legal in this state, you're instantly legal,
And
you can be
they're making
arrested.
money off that.
And they're making money off of that.
The arresting of those
Yeah.
people.
So you're thinking that it will become legal in Kansas before it becomes federally legal?
I think so. It's just because there will be a movement towards equalizing the standard of living with a neighboring state that has a significantly higher tax income because of the cannabis industry. The schools will be better, the roads will be better, the people will be wealthier, and it will become unacceptable for the residents of the state, and they will vote legislators in that will legalize cannabis. That's what I think anyway.
Gotcha.
It's always the money is the move. I mean, that's what drives everything,
Yeah, either money or porn.
Well, the two are connected,
Right.
Uh-huh. So,
Gentlemen from high school, do you have an opinion on this one way or the other?
What's the question? I was in the bathroom.
when will the cannabis become legal everywhere?
When? I don't know. I have no clue.
I know you typically don't dirty yourself with such
Yeah, never.
impure thoughts.
Well, teachers might be listening.
Yeah.
I assure you, this is a safe place, because if you want to keep a secret, you say it on this podcast. It's like a black hole.
I feel like it'll become legal because I don't know. It feels like since it's used for medical stuff too, like why not just make it all legal and make everyone happy?
Yeah.
I wouldn't really care either way,
I just
Yeah.
Make everyone
Make
happy.
everyone,
It's a great
yeah.
slogan.
I'm happy without it.
Run for president.
Wasn't
now,
that
and I
for
like
like
that one.
Soma or something? All right. If nobody else has a
I
thought,
do have a thought.
Go for it.
I think it'll actually be federally before Kansas catches up, because I think we're pretty close to the federal level, and it would make sense because the evangelicals and they look at it as being lazy, even though it's something that God made or whatever. It's a lazy thing for them, and they don't like that.
So you think Kansas will lag
They'll have to
behind
get forced into it federally.
because of
Did
how
they
powerful
legalize gay
it is?
marriage, or were they forced into it federally? I don't even know.
It was federally.
Yeah, well, sounds like it'll go about the same way. I would imagine.
It's a good point.
All right. Next question. What's your opinion on pronouns?
I'm pro
You can
nouns.
talk about. Let's talk to Sophia.
What fucking opinion can you have on pronouns? It's a part of the English language. It is a it is just part of vocabulary. There is no opinion to have. If you have an opinion that you shouldn't use someone's pronouns, you're just stupid. Like,
So you're
I
saying
don't-
the question should be asked differently than what is your
I'm
opinion
saying
on
what
pronouns?
fucking opinion is there to have? And the question really is, what are your thoughts on trans people?
Well,
Not what are
can
your
we
pro-
say that
thoughts
what
on
you're
pronouns?
saying is like, if you have a problem with pronouns, you are an ass? Is that kind of
Yes,
what
because
you're saying?
there's no problem to have because it's literally just part of the English language. It's not offensive in any way, shape, or
here's
form.
how I would propose it in your scenario, and in my own scenario too, but in the way you're trying to say it, is that why not call somebody what they want to be called?
Yeah.
You do it with their name. Do I want to be Ben or Benny or Benjamin? You'd give me whatever one I chose. So do
Yeah.
the same thing with whatever.
It's the thing that's crazy to me is like hearing like these conservatives be like, oh my god, they're teaching my kids pronouns in school, like we have to like do something about this, but like they're not teaching them. Like, it's just crazy to me how they think that there's a pipeline between learning the English language and identifying as transgender. As a non-binary individual myself, it is so unbelievably frustrating to have this conversation over and over and over again with everyone I meet, being like, hey, are you gonna, like, what's your opinion on who I am as a person? If I talk to you about this right now, will I know whether or not you respect me, or do I need to go? Because everyone has, like, some stance on it when there's nothing to have a stance on. It's just part of life.
I agree, but I have a slightly different take on it.
Okay.
I equate that struggle that you are talking about with the same thing that my folks went through. Like, we went from this stage of being called exclusively the N-word to being colored. We went from colored to being black. We went from black to being African American. And at every point, people balked at that idea. Like, I use this word all this time. Like, what is the need to change? And I think that it's, I think that at least for the way that I sort of like encapsulate how people think, react, what have you, that there's a lot of laziness. And it's a case of it's maybe not intentionally disrespectful, but it's disrespectful because it's not what I want to call myself.
Yeah, it's something that I've noticed even with people who claim to be allies or like really outspoken about trans rights is that they choose to just try and memorize your name and pronouns rather than actually accepting the fact that you are transgender.
Right.
And so that leads to more mistakes, and then it just like it's just so frustrating because it's just the unwillingness to change your thought process. And
but it is
shows.
hard to change your thought process.
What was your name again?
Sophia.
Sophia. The capital of Bulgaria.
I don't know, with an F too.
So I want
not
you to
know it was
look at
with
this
an F.
political cartoon,
Okay.
and if you can describe it, and then take a guess as to when and where it appeared.
Okay.
It's a political cartoon. She's going to describe. Or
So
sorry,
this
I don't
is
know your
a-
pronouns. Sorry,
They them. So
they're going to describe it.
this cartoon is two children at a women's restroom and a men's restroom door, and it says, "Remember the good old days when it didn't make any difference which one we used."
Okay, so I took this picture myself yesterday. What do you think it appeared, and what year was it? This is them looking at a women in a men's room and opining for the days when it didn't matter.
I don't know. Since you took this yesterday, I'm going to say it's recent.
It was 1967 Playboy magazine.
Jeez.
Can I see it? Because
Yeah.
I'm not sure
I'm not
that I'm
quite sure what-
translating.
Yeah.
Meaning, back then, the good old days were when they didn't have to worry about their gender.
Yeah.
And it actually flipped,
Yeah.
just like the Republican-Democrat parties flipped over time. That blew my mind. I was looking through the Playboy, and I saw that. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Sorry, you were looking through the Playboy?
I'm going to be interviewing someone who's from Playboy.
Sure, that's
All
what
right.
I call it too.
Whatever you say, dude.
Well, she's April 1990. I thought it'd be sketchy to get her edition, so I went to get an old vintage classic. But my point was, I didn't know there was a time period where you would look fondly back on not having a gendered bathroom back in '67. So clearly, what the good old days were swapped at some point, and it's just all relative. Is my point. It's relative to what you grew up with and what's normal to you.
We get fixated on such stupid things. There's so many, incredibly important things, and stupid semantics where we're just people and we're just Lou and Sophia and Ivo, and it's annoying. It's really annoying. If somebody wants to be called something, you call them that. It's just so stupid, and it's become such a divisive issue, and people are like the religious right loses its mind, and it's just incredibly dumb.
Annoying. People will call it coerced speech to call somebody by their preferred pronouns. I find that a very annoying argument because then anything can be coerced speech. I say, I want you to call me Alena and not bitch. Suddenly I say, oh, that's coerced speech. That's coerced speech. I know what I think you are when I see you, Alena, and that's a bitch. So I can call you a bitch. And it's like, no, I told you what my name is.
But
so
that's
saying
the mindset. That's exactly the mindset. If I have referred to you as bitch every time I've seen you for your whole life,
Okay, Louis, what did you think when Prince went to a symbol?
thought it was a genius piece of marketing.
Except when you call his house and somebody picks the phone and you say, "Can I please talk to that symbol."
But that was the probably most demanding version of this thing, because that is how do you even call?
So that was the interesting thing.
But he was so
he
cool,
said he did it, because I don't know that you know that I'm like the
Copyright
world's
or
biggest
something?
Prince fan.
Yeah.
He's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like
yeah.
yeah. There's
So-
not an interview that he's done
it was
that I
a
haven't.
good
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah. He did it because it was a.
Oh, by the way, I know Danny Harrison, and so when you see that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame video where
Uh-huh.
he's playing
Uh-huh.
solo,
Uh-huh.
Danny Harrison's sitting right
Yeah,
next to him,
right,
and he's my
right.
buddy.
When he turns around and he has his guitar player
that,
like
I mean,
pushing him back
loosely.
onto, and Danny Harrison's eyes light up.
Yep.
It is the best. So
Yeah.
the two best parts of that video are how angry
I
Tom
love
Petty
looking-
is, and how happy Danny Harrison
But
is.
I only, after knowing him, so he's got like 267 connections on LinkedIn, which because me and him used to play drums on Rock Band when we made the Beatles Rock Band at the video game company. So he would work at the company, and it was insane to be there with him, but then to watch that video and to see, because I didn't realize when I'd first seen it who he was.
Oh, gotcha.
Then I knew
He
him.
looks
then
so
I
much
didn't know
like
he
his
was in
dad.
it.
How do you
And it's
not
like,
recognize-
well, no, I just didn't know that video involved him at all.
Right.
I didn't even know he was playing acoustic in the background because I always focused on Tom Petty and everybody, all the heavy hitters.
Fascinating. Back to pronouns, you freaking Prince geeks.
Yeah, God.
So, like, it's
You
it
freaks.
takes some deprogramming.
I
for me
love you
to
guys.
Stop using the B word, like, and I got to be willing to do that. And I just don't think that
Which word?
like the average person walking down the street has that desire. I really feel like it's something that's going to have to die out, if that makes any sense.
Which
Gonna
word?
take time.
It's gonna die out.
That notion that like somehow it is my inevitable right to call you whatever I want to call you,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to what you identify as.
Like Dale Carnegie in How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Uh-huh.
Your name is the most important thing. It's the most important sound to anyone
Yeah.
in their lives, and whatever you'd want to be called would be that.
But I think that like in this country in particular, we have this tendency to like put people into categories, put people into boxes,
Yeah.
and like the power in this country has always had that naming right, and I feel like it's going to be the biggest fight we're gonna face. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not part of this transgender like identification issue, but I think that self-identification outside of what the power structure demands is a bigger issue than just the transgender community. I think it spans like all of the
I agree.
yeah.
It spans racial
pronouns
lines.
could be similar to race. I mean, there's all
That's
sorts
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I want to hear Andrei's thoughts on this. Yeah.
What?
You just told me your thoughts.
What do you mean?
Repeat what you just said to him.
Oh no, we were talking about two man.
It's
Oh no, let's not bring this up.
What do you mean?
A what?
Oh,
Nothing.
A two-man.
What's that?
Oh!
I have no idea.
it's a
what
story
it-
for after.
It's a,
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say.
My thoughts are, like, I will, like, for Sophia, it's kind of hard for me to, like Lou said, like, to change saying what I, like, it's a lot easier for me, like, on text. I usually am pretty good about it because I can think about what I'm going to say. But, like, still, like, after years, it's, like, I still use the wrong pronouns. So, I don't know. Like, if it's someone I just met, it's a lot easier. But
Yeah.
with Sophia, it's a little harder.
Yeah, that's
And
the thing.
It
It's
feels
like,
worse when I get it wrong with Sophia because, like,
Yeah.
I know.
because you should know better.
Yeah.
no, it's like it's a lot easier to understand where people are coming from if you've known them for a long time. But for in my experience, it feels like a lot of cisgender people, when I explain to them what my pronouns are, act like I owe them an explanation for it.
Right.
When you wouldn't ask me to explain if my pronouns were she, her, but like because I am because I have to clarify that, they feel like they need to understand why I'm like that and what makes me think I can people can get really offended when you tell them.
Why do you think that is? Like, seriously.
I think it's just
I
the
could see go. Oh, sorry. You go.
I think a lot of cishet people take a lot of their pride in fitting into the boxes that they were grown up in. I think a lot of people have worked really hard to fit into that box, so when they see someone living their life outside of that box and still being happy,
Right.
it feels like something was taken from them. like I know when my cousin is also non-binary, and they
Two
have
of you in the same family?
I know, yeah. You, but so they are much braver than I, and they came out to my grandparents well before I did.
Sorry, is this mom's side or dad's side?
Mom's.
Because I know. Oh, I know both.
Yeah,
I know both sides. Yeah.
So this
okay.
is the one that was on the podcast.
Uh-huh.
So when they came out to my grandparents, my grandma said, "I wish I had been able to do that when I was a kid."
Really?
And it was like that was really eye-opening for me. It's like a lot of
Did
people.
he come out just there? Does that mean he is non-binary?
No. Because I mean, obviously my grandma has like lived her whole life as a woman and as like comfortable in that. But she, like, just hearing that was like really, really eye-opening. It's like so many people are forced into these boxes and don't ever get the awakening that I did.
Right.
That can let them out. And even if like they're happy where they are, it's still kind of a bittersweet thing to realize that. I don't know, as our world progresses and as people get more comfortable with the idea of of genderqueer people, that opportunity was taken from them. And some of it is just people being like assholes, like, oh no, like there has to be one or two, like my brain can't comprehend it. So.
Well, it's same happens with people who couldn't be gay their whole lives. I mean, it's like we're cascading with like different issues and getting more progressive as time goes by, but everyone has to suffer that transitional period if they're part of the minority.
All right. I think
we're speeding up with the internet, though.
We are running out of time. No, we've been here for like almost 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
It's a long one.
Yeah. All right. Just a quick up-down. If you follow or like or hate astrology, up is I like it,
Love it.
down is hate it.
Love
Astrology, no for you, like it, indifferent, don't like it,
Love it.
love it.
Evo, thumb.
No,
Thumb,
I gotta
Evo.
say one sentence. I don't believe in astrology because I'm an Aries, and Aries are not superstitious.
That's true.
Crow, not a fan.
Which,
Andrei, not a fan.
Actively against astrology.
I'm terrified that astrology is true, so I don't know what that means. So,
Which hour did you
Oh.
born? Like, maybe we are like.
Yeah, no, you gotta get a full chart with like your houses and like.
Yeah,
you
what's
gotta
your
find
rising
out where his
sun
moon
sign
is, where his you gotta find out all of that stuff.
How's the rising sun?
All right, Evo, we did not get any emails faxes from Susan this week, correct?
No faxes. There's allegedly, there's a message sent in a bottle of Zima, but it hasn't arrived yet.
Gotcha,
It's still in the ocean.
All right. Well, I think that is where we're going to wrap this thing up. It has been a very fun and illuminating conversation. I want to thank everybody for joining. That is Alena, Sophia, Ben, Crow, Andrei, Evo, Fernando. Myself, I'm Louis Walton. And again, doing all the producing duties is Mr. Neil
Rasmussen on the knobs!
All right. Thank you, guys. And we will check in with you next week.